What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Junkies Podcast. Today is episode 198. I'm currently hanging out in Dallas, Georgia, where I'm going to be participating as a judge at a welding competition taking place tomorrow morning for Excel Strategies. I can't wait to watch all these participants compete. Welding competitions are always a great time. Whether you're competing, spectating, hosting, or judging, it's always a blast to be involved with these things and just watch how talented the young men and women in this trade actually are. So if you get a chance, try to sign up and compete in a welding competition in your area. Maybe donate your time as a judge or just show up and support those that are participating in it, and I promise you, you won't be disappointed. In today's episode, I'm talking with Stephanie Hoffman and David Madero, both badass metal artists and hosts of the new Metal Shop Masters on Netflix. Today we discuss what it's like going from welding to hosting a show that's broadcasted all over the world. We also talk about what it's like to be a judge on the show, what they've been up to since it aired, what they're doing now, and what they've got coming up next. We're going to get into all that and more after a quick word from the supporters of the show. Today's episode of the Junkies Podcast is brought to you by Rockmount Research and Alloys. As if they didn't have enough cool products in their selection of filler metals and abrasives, they just released 2 more awesome products to help you get the job done right the first time, every time. First up is a brand new electrode. The all-new Polaris 18 meets and exceeds the AWS A5.1 specifications as an extra low hydrogen electrode with smooth running arc characteristics. And it's super easy to restrike. And it boasts an 82,000 pounds per square inch tensile strength with 37% elongation. The Polaris 18 is a great fabrication rod and is ideal for the repair and joining of construction grade steel, or for fabrication and repair of angle iron, channel iron, I-beams, H-beams, pipe, cold rolled steel, mild steel, low alloys, and hot rolled steel. They also just released a new PSP, the Prep, Shine, and Polish Interleaved Flap Disc, which comes with a flexible abrasive material with surface conditioning flaps to create a time-saving disc that grinds and finishes in a single step. It's available in a 60 grit coarse finish and has a 5/8 11 nut for attaching straight to the arbor of your grinder. This wheel is ideal for stainless steel, aluminum, and other soft metals. Now you can go from weld to paint with one wheel. Now there's no need to start off with a hard rock, just to switch to a flap wheel and then switch over to a polishing wheel. This is an all-in-one wheel that'll take you right from welding to painting in one step. This is just one more way Rockmount is helping you get the job done right the first time, every time. Check them out today at rockmountwelding.com. We're also brought to you by Everlast Welders, the only machines I'm currently running in my home shop. I just picked up a few more side jobs and have been working through them with my 255 EXT, and I love this thing. The arc start is great, arc stability is amazing, and the overall settings are super simple to set up. And when I'm talking about arc initiation and arc stability, that's a big thing for the type of work that I've been doing lately. I'm doing a lot of 316L, it's about 40 thousandths of an inch thick, and I'm also welding some 1/8 inch diameter stainless rods to it. So having good arc stability and being able to run at 30 amps consistently has been crucial for all these jobs. Hop on over to everlastwelders.com today to find out what's right for you. One thing I've got my eye on lately is the new Storm 215 IC, which is a stick, MIG, and plasma cutter all on one unit, priced at $13.99. I definitely need to get a plasma fired up because I have some projects my son and I are going to be working on once we both get some time off from school. And remember, if you buy any machine from Everlast that comes with a stock foot pedal, make sure to use code word ARCJunkies in the comment section to get that free Nova foot pedal and take towards upgrade. It's only available at everlastwelders.com. Everlast Welders. Weld mean, weld green. We're also brought to you by my good friends over at Outlaw Leather USA, makers of the finest custom welding hoods around. Check them out today at outlawleatherusa.com, and right now you can save 15% off all their custom leather goods when you use Junkies in the discount box at checkout. Whether that's a new hood, an arm brace, a knee pad, rod pouch, bolt bag, or anything else that's custom leather, you can save 15%. And be sure to give them a follow on Instagram at Outlaw Leather USA. All right, you know what time it is. Fire up your machines, drop your hood, and turn me up 5.
You're listening to the Junkies Podcast. Helping you make every weld better than your last with each episode. And now your host, Jason Becker.
All right, David Madero, Stephanie Hoffman, what is going on? How have you guys been? I haven't seen you since, September, Fab Tech. You guys have had a lot going on since then.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, Steph, you're up in SEMA right now, and Dave, you're back in your shop doing artwork, I assume?
Yes, I'm still here in Mexico. I'm still waiting for you guys to come down and visit me. Come on, what are you doing?
I definitely want to come down and visit you. I'm trying to convince my wife that it's okay for me to travel internationally into Mexico.
Yes.
Because Jesus and Ismail from Outlaw Leather invited me to go to FabTech Mexico. So I definitely want to check that out and come see your shop. How far are you away from that event?
I'm not at all far away. It's about 3.5 hours from Monterrey.
Okay.
I'm going to be there, and it's going to be the best FabTech ever. Well, probably not the best, but it's going to be so much fun. I mean, FabTech here in Mexico, it's different, different vibe. It's, a lot of tequila, a lot of mariachis, it'll be fun.
They have tequila
Have
at
you been to
FabTech?
it before?
No, but I'm kind of figuring.
This is pure assumption.
Just making stuff up.
Steph, you know me. You know I just make shit up all the time.
So I know, Steph, you've got a lot of stuff going on. You're hanging out at SEMA right now. How's that show been?
Good. I mean, this is my first time ever going, so I really don't have anything to put it against, because I've never been before. But yeah, just lots of networking, seeing friends, and having a good time. Last night we were out super late, so a little tired today. Tonight we're gonna do another after party at Sosa's or something like that, a motorcycle shop. Jealous. Yeah, so we're gonna go there. It should be good. I just bought a bunch of tables from my new shop that I'm opening. So
you actually have a booth set up?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm just here.
You bought I thought you said you brought tables. I'm sorry.
No, I bought tables for my shop at home. They're gonna get delivered. So I bought 6 tables. Yeah.
With all the extra stuff and the clamping and this.
Yeah. A bunch of those. Yeah. They're actually the table company that sponsored the show. So I'm just, supporting the brands that are supporting me. So
those were killer, the ones on Netflix.
Yeah, those were nice. So
tell me a little bit about your shop, Steph, because I know you made the big announcement the other day on your Instagram, and I thought it was really cool. You've got a lot of stuff going on in this shop. So tell everybody a little bit about what's going on in I guess it's going to be the headquarters for Underground Metalworks.
Yeah, so I'm opening up a new location. It's actually going to have, when you first walk in, a big retail area. So there'll be Underground Metalworks branded stuff. We're going to be doing some stuff with Outlaw Leather as well in there. So it'll be a little boutique shop there on the East Coast for them. So that'll be the first for them. Have other brands in there and stuff. And then once you go out into the shop, fit and finish of this place is going to be extraordinary. So it's not going to be your run-of-the-mill typical shop that you guys are used to seeing on all over Instagram and stuff. This is pretty much more of a boutique studio workshop space. So you're going to go in. It's going to look from wall to ceiling. Everywhere you look, it's going to be pretty gorgeous with, neon signs and corrugated steel walls and, just some really cool stuff. Even the bathroom, I have everything designed out to even the bathroom being super rad and spooky. And, it's going to still have that very Underground Metalworks, punk rock theme.
Have a Motley Crue soundtrack going on 24/7.
Yeah, all the time. And then I'm going to have in the backside, there's going to be a space. I'm going to be, my passion lies in teaching and education. As a lot of people know, I was a welding instructor for many years and have a degree in education and doing all that great stuff. So I want to get back to that now that I have a little bit more, freedom in my life to kind of explore and do things that I want to do again. So I'm going to have 5 little table, workshop spaces. So I'll be offering everything from single day workshops to 3-day workshops, and then even private lessons and one night a week for 6-week type programs too, for some people who need a little bit, maybe can't do the weekends and things like that. So I'm going to kind of move it around my schedule and, just moving forward with new stuff with the American Welding Society and working on some stuff with ESOB and some other companies. So it should be really, really exciting year. So we should be due to open for classes and stuff like that in January. So I'm hoping to film a lot of content there. So it'll be more used for studio space for a bunch of different companies and stuff. And also house, welding workshops and, my area, we don't have anything like that. So if you want to learn how to weld, you either have to beg a friend or go to the local vocational program. And a lot of people don't have that type of time to commit to a program. They just want to learn something or learn something very like niched and specialized. So I'm going to be offering everything from basic welding to anodized pipe, tube bending, fabrication, stuff like that. So
you're going to be teaching all these classes and workshops and everything that people can sign up for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll be teaching most of them. I'll have some other folks coming in, like my best friend, Zach from Exit 74. He's going to teach, help me out with some classes, some of the fabrication and tube bending stuff. We might do those together. I'm looking to have like special people come out. Hopefully I'll have you and David out for some, I'll pay you guys to come out and be special guest instructors. So yeah, just trying to bring the community together in a little bit different space. But I think the cool thing that's going to set my space off is, everybody knows how much I love golf. So, yeah, so this space is actually going to have a little golf area in it, like a putting, chipping, driving area.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. So I just think that's really rad. I think people look for that type of connection with folks when you're selecting a class and stuff, to be able to go to a class that like, you feel like you can have some type of like a way to like connect and bond with somebody and get to like, see what they really like besides, the one lane thing that you're there like learning about, So, I mean, I know for me, whenever you have those like special moments with like, me as an instructor, when you could find those weird little caveats to kind of connect with your students or or their parents and stuff like that, it just like, they just appreciate what you're doing a little bit differently. So I think having that space in there, so when people come, they can, take pictures and videos in my little cool golf simulator area and, and kind of feel like they can connect to something that I enjoy doing. So I think it's going to be fun bringing my two passions together.
So if you can put like, cause I know you said you wanted David and I to come up there. I think it's only fair that you get the software update for your 3D golf simulator to get like a 3D hunting simulator for archery, because I know they have like the same technology, but instead of throwing a golf ball, you're actually shooting a bow and arrow.
Maybe I'll put like a little Wii. Remember the Wiis or the Nintendo Switch?
Oh, that's lame. Okay. So please tell me that at least you're going to do like some murals or something like that on the back wall and like kind of make it like really intense.
Yeah.
If you don't do a sculpture of a golfer, I'm going to be pissed.
I'm not doing any sculptures of golfers.
Come on.
I just want to, it's partially for other people to come and use, but it's for me when I need a break in the day.
Okay, so check this out. So you could have David Madero, awesome metal sculpturist from Mexico, build you like a 3D golfer like exhibit. Maybe him and Ivan can team up on something. And then maybe Ray could come in and do like your murals along the back walls and like theme it out with Motley Crue and the American flag and like, Army veterans, even though the Marine Corps birthday's coming up and like Marines are number one, but like, we got to honor the Army too, put some Army stuff up in the background. I think that'd be kind of tight.
Yeah, what's funny? So across the street from me is Backward Flags Brewery, and it's actually a female veteran-owned brewery, and they're pretty popular. They're sold in a bunch of liquor stores and stuff now too. But so I'm a female veteran-owned company too. So we're actually going to be doing some stuff like special classes for veterans and first responders and stuff that will be basically free workshops for them to come out and see the opportunities within the trade. So hopefully Jason, maybe that's something you might be interested in donating some time
Definitely.
to. So
I'll drive up, fly up. I'll jump in the Atlantic and swim up, whatever.
We'll get you up there.
So now I also heard you're getting ready to set up to become an accredited testing facility through the AWS as well.
Yes. So hopefully, I don't know how long of a process that's going to be, but yes, that's something that we definitely are going to be doing. I got to support, the industry that supports me, and that's the American Welding Society. So it'll be heavily branded and affiliated with the American Welding Society. I am the face of that organization, so I need to support it in every way that I can. So we'll be an educational institutional member and then hopefully becoming a accredited testing facility so that people can come out and actually get certified there. Now I won't be teaching. Yeah, so I won't be so much teaching the classes for certification. I mean, I might do like refresher courses and just things like that. but it'll be a facility that they can come and test out there. So
right, because
maybe down the road, but I don't have that type of time to commit, several weeks of of time to teaching people, from start to finish of a test. So
definitely,
now you're famous now.
Yeah.
That's
I got to be honest. I'm a little starstruck. I've never had like celebrities, like legit Hollywood celebrities, Well, I mean, like I've had Ivan on here and Frank on here. So, I mean, and Ray, like they're a freaking blast, but like just being able to like know you all beforehand, getting into Metal Shop Masters, just Steph hanging out with you in Miami, Dave, meeting you at Fab Tech, having you on the podcast beforehand. It's really cool to see where you all have taken your careers. And like, I seen a post earlier that like, so, somebody was asking like, what would your recommendation be for people getting out of welding school? And somebody like the first and only comment fired off was like, find another trade. And it's like,
what?
That's what I don't get. It's like welding can take you so many freaking places. And I think the people that have that mentality are the ones that like, they stayed stagnant. They wanted that 40-hour-a-week job and they expected that $100K salary and they never got it. And they were like, well, piss on the welding industry because I couldn't make it there, so you can't either. But look what you have done with your career revolved around that little 3/8 ball of light that everybody stares at underneath that welding hood, I mean, look at where it's taken you. It's taken you all the way to freaking Netflix, syndicated in like 60 different countries. Transcribed.
127.
Okay, transcribed in 127 different languages.
193 countries, 27 languages.
Gosh,
you go,
damn. Steph knows the stats, man. But I mean,
hey, I'm proud of it.
No, I would be too. I mean, that's a freaking badge of honor. So I mean, like to go from like your humble beginnings as like, especially Stephanie, being told you can't make it in this industry, you can't take this welding class because we don't have a female bathroom, and like your mom having to go to court for you and like fight that battle. And then David, everything that you've had to go through to, get where you're at today, and to look back and like, did you ever think you were going to be where you are today? Like on a show as big as Netflix, because screw cable, like cable has never had the ratings that Netflix does. Yeah. And now you guys have all signed on for a second season. Yeah. Can I talk about that? A second season?
Well, we signed, David, I think we have the same contract, right? We have up to 6 seasons. So,
okay. So there we go.
We don't know if we'll get all of those, but it's that's definitely what we're shooting for.
No doubt, second season, baby.
Oh, if the cake people on there, the nailed it people can get it for like 5-6 seasons, welding's definitely got their hat in the ring for that one.
We've gotten really good feedback on the show too, so we're really, really proud of it. I think we're in for a really long, awesome journey. So
right. So David, since
it's only been like a month and a half, It's still kind of fresh.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even been a full month yet. Well, yeah, I guess just over a month.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like Netflix is different, where like people sometimes don't get into a season until 2, 3, 4 seasons deep, and then they binge watch everything. And even Frank, Ray, Lou, all them people are going to be constantly getting new views and new people like interested in what they're doing and checking them out like every single season. Unlike shows like these singing shows and stuff on TV, it's only one season, and once that season's done, they're not replaying that season.
Right.
So I think that's really cool. So hopefully we'll be living on for a long time, and the reach that we have. I mean, I think it's been different for me maybe than for David, because it's legitimately the first time in history a woman has been represented as like the know-it-all of welding on a global scale.
Yeah.
So that's never happened before. So poor David doesn't get the probably horrible hate mail that I do about, people being mad.
It's horrible.
Yeah. And people being really upset about, me telling somebody what to do, or women in industry, and how, I can't be, there's no way I know everything, and I'm this and I'm that. Like people have been pretty rough, but I mean, overall people have been really fantastic and supportive, but it doesn't take very many of those negative comments to kind of like, those ones always seem to supersede the 50 great ones that you got.
That's the ones that you always get. So like when I did the stuff for weld.com, I would try to reply to, like we'd shoot a video. I mean, like sometimes we were shooting, editing, and releasing the same day. So like I would shoot a video, the camera guy, he'd edit it and release it. And then I would drive from Largo, Florida, all the way down to, where I'm at. It's like a 2.5 hour drive. By the time I'd get home, it's like 8, 9 o'clock, I'm trying to respond to every single comment. And most of it's supportive comment. Well, I did that for almost a year.
I don't really, if you say something negative, odds are I'm not responding. I won't delete
definitely.
it, but I'm not responding.
It was
I don't have time for it. I mean, and I can't center my life around, the negativity. So.
Right. No, but it was like, I would try to respond to, as much as I could. And then everything's positive, like, hey, thanks for showing me this, or, questions on the video. But then you get that negative, that one negative comment or that 2 negative comments, and you're like, damn. And you start second guessing yourself. And then you start, I suffered with imposter syndrome for a long time. Like, do I really know what the hell I'm talking about? And apparently, oh yeah, I do. I mean, I still suffer from that because I don't think I'm as great as everybody thinks I am, in certain, circumstances. So it's hard to deal with that. Have you guys had to kind of go through those motions and deal with that?
Yeah, I'm standing next to David freaking Madero on a metal sculpting show. What do you think?
Well, that's true.
I'm a traditional welder, pipe welder, fabricator. That's my lane. You want to talk that type of stuff?
Stephanie, come on.
But David,
great metal art.
And I only feel like I felt pressure before the show came out to start creating more things, because I was like, how am I going to look? I feel like people are going to be like, she sucks because she's not a metal artist. What does she know? What does she know? So I'm like, I got to produce something. I can make artistic fabricated stuff, but I don't look at myself as an artist. I don't think of myself as what David is. I feel like we're on 2 different pages, and I think that's what makes our dynamic on the show so interesting, because I am very to the book, and he is so passionate about the art and what things look like, and I'm like, David looks like garbage, it's like shit, and he's like, no, that's beauty, it's this. I'm like, is it really?
He's got that artistic mindset, which David, I really admire you for how humble you are, because the stuff that you build, and honestly, full disclosure here, prior to understanding who David Madero was, I've seen your work and just admired the ever-loving hell out of it.
Wow, man.
But had no idea that David Madero did that. And it wasn't until I had you on the podcast, and I always try to research the guests before having them on, that I realized the size and the scope of the stuff that you do, and I was blown away. I was like, holy shit, I've seen this stuff before, but I had no idea that, the guy I'm getting ready to have on the podcast is the guy that has built this stuff that I've been in awe over for, years leading up to this event. Well, and to see how humble you are with, gee, shucks, guys, that whole... That's awesome, and I hope you never freaking lose that, man, because that is, true passion. You're humble about what you do, and you hold yourself to such a high regard. I really appreciate that about, you and your work.
Thank you, Jason. The thing is, people usually think artists and sculptors were, pretentious, and we're, just like talking a lot of smack and trying to sell just all this conceptual kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of why I'm super happy that I'm involved and I'm inside of the metal art world, because there's both those things. There's the blue collar aspect to it.
Right.
And then at the same time, you have that artistic side, and they just come together in such a great way. And that's part of the thing about the show that I loved, where you got to meet all of these artists, these 7 artists, and there wasn't one asshole out of the bunch. I mean, usually you have these reality shows, and there's always that one guy or that one girl that's, backstabbing and doing just talking smack about the others. But that did not happen during the show at all. I mean, Stephanie and I were witnesses to just good people, and that's what I love about metal art, because it doesn't, even though it's in the tent of the art world, mm-hmm. It's not the same, man. We're not like those other artists that people usually kind
associate
of
that
cliche,
with,
right?
Yeah, where they take a 1 gallon of red paint and throw it against the canvas, and this is the story of my life. No,
come on.
Yeah,
blow smoke up somebody else's ass. You threw paint on a canvas. That's what it is.
Yeah, but the cool thing about the contestants, though, they have all very different backgrounds. So some of them kind of like, that's not all they do. So they have a different identity than just being an artist, some of them. So I think that's hopefully why we had a little bit of a nicer grouping, maybe. I don't know, David. I'm kind of hoping next season we get some feisty ones, but
and so maybe one or two at the most.
So the funny. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and that contrasting thing that I love about metal artists, it's kind of encapsulated in Stephanie and I, right? Because Stephanie, amazing, just like she knows everything about welding, everything. I know nothing about welding. I just know a lot about artistic welding, right? And so you have these two people, and we're kind of like two sides of the brain of a metal artist, right? Because a metal artist has to know how to use the machines and the materials, but at the same time you need this creative side. So they got like two extremes. Like they got a walking encyclopedia of welding, which is Stephanie Hoffman. I've never met anybody who is more talented when it comes to welding.
Thank you. They edited all my good content on the show, though.
That sounds like something they do.
We were expecting them to have Joe and everybody, we were all joking that like all the words and the crazy shit I was saying, that they're like going to have a drinking game. Every time I said something people didn't understand, they would take a shot. And I was kind of bummed. I was like, hey, why'd you guys take it all out? They're like, we would have alienated like a huge audience if you just let you ramble.
Yeah, you definitely don't want me on there because I'd be throwing out like tech specs and like all that other shit.
Yeah.
And
well, that's what I was doing. I came to set with a little binder full of all my little notes and like all the temperatures and this, so that I didn't mess any of that up and stuff.
Well, because you want to be on point because you're being broadcasted in front of freaking millions. You want to make sure you get your shit straight.
Oh yeah, I worked on that little binder for so long.
Well, according to Clause 4 of the AWS D1.1 2020 edition.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, oh, they took it all out. And then I was like, all right. After I watched, I'm like, I can see why.
I thought it was funny that they played MIG welding sounds over all of the TIG welds being performed.
I think it was just because it sounds cooler than.
Well, yeah, because like TIG is just like. There's like nothing there.
Know that one sound goes with one machine and the other goes with the other.
Even with the plasma cutting, because like when they had Lou's CNC plasma cutting machine going on, I was like, dude, his machine sounds like shit.
Sounds
like
really
he needs a tune-up. It doesn't sound right. And then I seen him doing TIG welding, and they were like, had that MIG weld sound over, and I was like, oh, they're just using the MIG weld sound because it's really the only one that makes enough noise to make it attractive. And
it's funny because like we know that, but majority of the people who watch the show, they have no idea. To them, welding, that's what welding sounds like. Welding sounds not like, it never sounds any different than what MIG welding is. You know, everybody, that's what they know, that's what they associate. So I get why it happened, and it was an accident, and hopefully we get those types of things figured out for next seasons.
Yeah, they could just play like some instrumental music over it or something like that. Maybe, David throw some mariachi over the TIG welding, just so it's got some, a little bit of soul to it.
Yeah.
And it was the first season. Just going through growing pains a little bit, but it came out freaking amazing.
Dude, I loved it.
I wish the episodes were longer.
Yeah, I know. Me too. And it was just 6 episodes also, and I'm sure we're gonna get 10 for next season, or maybe 12.
That's what we hope for.
Oh yeah,
fingers crossed.
Well, that and probably longer form episodes. So this, I would imagine, this is like a pilot series where they're going to be like, okay, we're going to do,
exactly
6 episodes, 30 minutes, and then if this does well, we'll do like 10 episodes, 45 minutes, and then we'll go into 12 episodes, an hour long. Like I could watch that stuff forever, and like the amount I don't know how they're going to pull it off for season 2, because the amount of talent that they found on season 1 just kind of blew me away. And
I think it's going to be incredible.
And it wasn't, and honestly, just from like a spectator's perspective, it really didn't showcase each one of the participants. It didn't really showcase, the type of work that they're capable of. I think they should have, okay, you have a day or 2 days or whatever to come up with, something that's going to showcase your skills and talent to show the world what you. Though. Yeah, I mean, like, you were given parameters, but, like,
Yeah, they were given pretty open parameters though, and they were
you got to make an avatar.
All that prep before they eat with their own equipment, all that stuff. Like that was really their time to shine. And some people took that and ran with it, and others they didn't.
I loved Ray's piece because like when I seen Ray's piece, it was like without even like if you could have just put that on Netflix and I could have been like, that's Ray Ripples.
Yeah.
or even right? Tom's piece. I could have been
Tom.
like, that's Tom. That's Tom Patzis' piece. Like you can tell, but I don't know. Maybe like showcase some of the like the reason Netflix picked that person. Maybe do like a little bit more background story. Show some of the actual artwork that they've done in the past.
Yeah,
and just
exactly why they need to be longer episodes.
Yeah, it definitely needs a little bit longer form. Like get in to know the contestants.
But you know what, Jason, you should have seen the evolution of all of these artists. I mean, you have Tom that he did, like you mentioned, you saw the first piece of robot that he did and you're like, okay, that's Tom. But the other challenges, he had to kind of think outside the box, not be so much in his comfort zone. He really had to kind of like switch his brain up a little bit. And the other competitors also. So you were able to see all these neurons flying around in their brains like, oh my God, I'm used to this, but they're asking me to do this over here. And just being a witness to all of that, Stephanie and I were in awe the entire time.
Right.
Just in the stress level.
I was going to say, like, the stress, like just being the judges, because I know, like, you both know some of these people, and then like when I seen like in like just 100% honest, because like I know Stephanie and I know Ray and I've known them for quite a while. When Stephanie had to walk over to the box and be like, Ray, it looks like some of your stuff is like welded up, like you're gonna have to cut it apart or like redo it. And I was like, that bitch. I was like, how could you do that? But like, no, I get it, but like it was like just. From the outside looking in, I was like, man, like, okay, so like everything's got to be fair. It's got to be above board. I get it. It was kind of difficult for me watching that whole thing, but I thought it was really cool that like Ray made it as far as she did, just because I know Ray on that personal level, and then just getting to know the rest of the contestants. Like I had Frank on the podcast last week. I had Ivan on a couple of weeks ago. Super cool people, like just amazing people. And just, seeing them on Netflix and then going back through and kind of researching some of the work, some of the stuff that they've done in the past. It's like, you'd have no idea, that these people ever existed had it not been for the show.
Yeah. It was hard for us to judge.
I would imagine. I would not want to be in your shoes or Stephanie, your Doc Martens.
She's got them on right now. Trust me.
I have these cool Puma sneakers on today.
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah. No, they're not Pumas. They're Vans with these black Pumas all over them.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you.
I'm a big fan of the Chuck T's.
Look at these things.
Oh,
see
nice.
the Pumas all over them?
So I finally found like
weird.
I've got like fat feet. Like if I dip my foot in water and like take a step on concrete, it's just a blob. And so for the longest time, like I've never been able to wear Chuck T's until I went to their website and found, oh shit, they make them for like, fat feet or flat feet, whatever you want to call it. So like I finally, like I can wear my Chuck T's now. And like, I've been wanting to wear them forever. And I had a pair that I used to wear all the time that were like the regular, Chuck T's that you would wear, but they would like kill my feet because they've got that little pitch, because they're narrow. So like I when I was standing, like you couldn't see the soles of the feet because my like feet would just pour over the sides of them. Mm-hmm. So like finally, I finally found a pair of Chuck T's that are like comfortable and I can wear them, and like I rock the shit out of them. My wife calls them my kid shoes.
Yeah, now you and Scott Ravi are looking super twinning these days.
Yeah, right. Well, that and the beard. So like that's funny thing is all the people at Outlaw Leather, they get Scott and I confused all the time, and then Chucky, Lucky Chucky from Flame Tech, he's like, oh, hey, Scott, what's going on? And I'm like, nope, Scott's not here yet, bro.
Scott, the guy from Houston, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he runs Precision Welding Academy. So, like, the funny thing is like, I like, we were walking past each other at FabTech, and he looks over at me, and he's like, holy shit, is that Scott Robbie? And I looked right back at him, and I was like, holy shit, is that Jason Becker? So, like, we had a moment there at FabTech because everybody confuses us, and I guess it's just the beard. So maybe that's why I'm growing my hair out, so I won't get confused with Scott Robbie anymore.
There you go.
So David, what are you working on now, like back in your shop? Because I know before you were working on the Phoenix, like the flame coming out of the ashes and everything. Like how's progress been on the Phoenix?
It kind of sucks, brother, because social media, I don't know what I can show and what I can't. So right now I'm only kind of posting these smaller sculptures that I'm doing and all that kind of stuff. I've signed a few things that I can't really talk too much about, but I can talk a little. But some amazing things are going to be happening.
So is it like you can't release it on social media, or like can you like slide a pic to my DMs on the down low, or
yeah, I can slide a pic,
or either that, just text it to me, just like shoot me a message and be like, I just want to see what you got going on.
Yeah, but what I can talk about is, I've been doing figurative work for so many years. I mean, oh, dude, it's just animals and eagles and things for different companies. I work with a lot of different companies, and I finally decided that I'm going to take 2-3 days off from the week from working those things and doing what I want to do, just straight up what I want to do. So I'm doing these different abstract type pieces that have been kind of just sitting in my mind for years and years. I'm finally able to do them, and those are coming soon, brother. In about a week, all these pieces are going to start flowing out on social media, and that is exactly like that. That's just straight up what me, David Madero, wants to do, and it's just straight up passion. So I'm super excited about that. Oh, and brother, I'm getting like so many DMs and messages from different people, but the ones that are really exciting me are the ones having me fly out and do metal art workshops, in different parts of the world. I'm kind of like Stephanie, where I just want to, the word educate, but I just want to like promote. Like I just want more people to love metal art the same way that I do. So it's kind of my mission in life, and I just want to keep traveling and going overseas.
Don't promote it. Here's because it's a different mentality. Promoting is like trying to recruit people to do something that you love and you do. I don't want you to promote what you do.
Okay, you're right.
I want you,
brand, right? Like I'm promoting Nike. Or
I want you to share your passion.
Yes.
Because that's what's going to make that connection with somebody. Like I promote my welding program, and like, roughly like 30% of the people. But like when I started sharing my passion about welding, like enrollment numbers went up, because they can see that you're truly passionate about, you care about what you're doing. So like change your verbiage just a little bit.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Share your passion, because like you all, like having you all like I've never considered myself as an artist, and I told you that last time you were on the show, David. Stephanie, I've told you that when you've been on the show before. I told the same thing to Ray Ripple, and now like my son has my wife's artistic ability, so he's drawing some like really cool stuff, and I want to get him into welding. Just like I want to share my passion with my son, and so like I got the new Everlast Storm. And it has a plasma cutter built into it. So David, when you were on here last time, I showed you the little eyeballs that he was drawing.
Yeah,
so
I loved it.
I want to take those and kind of do like a Dabs Wellington / Underground Metalworks / David Madero / Ray Ripple effect, and bring this eyeball to life through like polished stainless steel with like rustic borders and stuff like that, and just like make an art piece and share my passion for welding with my son, who has like a passion for like drawing artwork and anime and all that stuff. So share your passion. Don't promote what you do. Share your passion. It's going to pull so many more people in.
That's exactly what I want, because I've my job, my profession, it is my passion is metal art, right? Doing sculptures, but my mission, my absolute mission in life is to keep what was that word again, Jason?
Passion.
Exactly. Passion. I want to keep, pushing that passion forward. And, Stephanie and I, we were super lucky because we had the absolute world's biggest platform to do this on, which is Netflix. So it was just like perfect because I've never in my life seen anything that even compares to Metal Shop Masters. I mean, there's no other metal art, either competition or documentary. I mean, it's just non-existent. So we're kind of pioneers in this, and there's going to be other shows. Trust me, I know this for a fact.
Yes.
There's going to be, more YouTubes, more kids, when starting to get a little older and starting to do their own YouTube channels about, look what I'm welding. Look, I'm doing, furniture or sculptures or, bar tops. And it's just it's gonna flourish into something just absolutely amazing. And I'm just super excited for this. And yeah, man, I mean, I can keep talking and talking.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Up my jam.
Right.
David, do you ever get people that are talking to you about the show and don't realize they're talking to you?
Not yet.
It happens to me all the time.
I don't want to speak to you. I want to speak to the actual Stephanie Hoffman.
Every single day, like when I'm out on tour with the American Welding Society or at SEMA, all over the place. And people will be like, oh, yeah, earlier, Welder, I was watching this new show on Netflix. And I'm like, oh, really?
Tell me about it, please.
It happens every single day. And then it's funny because then people go inside the trailer and they'll see the actual like trailer for the Netflix show playing in there. And then they come back out and they're like, wait a second.
Holy shit.
Or people will like be walking by like on the trailer and then they like stop and they look and they're like, I think I was just watching you.
I'm sure they're like looking at your tattoos and like, oh, wait a second. That tattoo I saw on the show. It's got to be her.
The best is when they're literally talking to me about how much they love the show or this person or that person on the show, and they don't even know that they're talking to me. But it happens just about every single day at an event on the trailer. Yeah, because it's a welding trailer, so people come on, they want to share something that they know about welding. So like parents are like, oh yeah, we watched this new show on Netflix. Oh yeah, we've been watching this show, or oh, I heard about this new show, and it's so funny. They never
Stephanie, you should totally play into that and be like, I know one of the judges.
I do. Oh, I tell people all the time, like, oh, really? I was like, who's your favorite person on that show? Did you like any of the judges and stuff? And they're like, oh, yeah. And they'll like talk about stuff and yeah. And then my tour manager, he'll sit there and just laughing and shaking his head. And then finally they'll like get it and like, he'll like look at Andre and he'd be like, you're talking to her. And they're like, oh my God.
Can I get your autograph?
It's funny. Yeah, it's super funny. But I figured, David, that would happen to you too.
No, I mean, people here in town, they're keeping my feet on the ground. I mean, they're not like, oh my God, you're on Netflix and this and that. People here just kind of chill with me. But I do get DMs and things from other places. I'm like, wow, I guess I'm famous now. Well, I guess I'm like a D, E, or F.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. This segment of the Arc Junkies podcast is brought to you by Strong Hand Tools, makers of heavy-duty welding tables, toggle clamps, magnets, and fabrication tools. If you're a welding student and you want to register your school for a free gift package, head on over to stronghandtools.com/ArcJunkies to register. And be sure to visit them at the Performance Racing Industry Show, booth number 5559, December 9th through the 11th. We're also brought to you by AHP Welders. AHP makes great machines for the fraction of the cost. If you're new to welding, learning in your garage, or you just need a welder around the house for working on small side projects, check out ahpwelds.com and get a machine for under $1,000 without sacrificing performance. That's ahpwelds.com. Now let's get back into the show. So have you gotten David, have you gotten any unwanted publicity from the show? Because I know where you're at in Mexico, people become high valued targets in that area.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
David, you should share some experience you might have.
Oh my God.
I was going to ask you about this last time you were on the show, but I was super nervous. And then Stephanie's like, no, you should definitely ask him about this.
Jason,
But wait, David, you need to reel life back to when you lived in Texas and what you were doing before you caved and went to go work in metal art.
Stephanie, what are you doing?
We're breaking out all the cards, man.
David,
this ain't no TMZ.
People need to know you. I'm gonna sell your story.
No, I'll talk a little bit about it.
Just a little bit. Just an Arc Junkies exclusive.
Yeah. I've had experiences where, okay, fine, I was kidnapped, like literally kidnapped 5 years ago, and for ransom, and I can't believe I'm telling you this.
You're laughing about this, but it's like
I know.
Okay, this story. Okay, so this is how he told me about this whole crazy story. So we're walking, we're getting to LA, and we're getting to know each other a little bit more. But because we've been talking for so long now, prior to going and filming, so we kind of knew each other, felt comfortable with each other, and I don't know. We were talking about our past, right? I think is how I remember. We were walking down the sidewalks in LA. And he's telling me about how he used to bartend and the type of places he used to bartend in. And all this crazy stuff. And then he gets into how he was kidnapped and he was mistaken. It was supposed to be his neighbors. And I'm like, nonchalantly bring this up while we're walking down the street.
It's crazy. I've had that experience. I've had a lot of life experiences, not so positive,
Right.
Not at all so positive.
You gotta get him on like a late night or something.
I gotta get him when he's got some whiskey in him.
And Jason, last time, I'm glad I didn't drink this time, because last time I was with you, my wife told me, David, you will never have more than 2 drinks for a podcast. I'm like, why? What did I do? And she's like, man, you didn't let Jason talk. You kept talking over him.
Oh no, that's perfect, because like that's what this show is all about. Is I want to hear your story, because people get enough of me yammering on about this, that, and the other. So like to get your experience, your firsthand knowledge.
And guys, I love Ray Ripple, but I think I beat her ass with the F-bombs. I know for a fact. I'd
have to go back.
I was competing with her on that one. Just F-bomb this, F-bomb that.
Okay, so we'll do a competition. We'll do a competition for anybody listening. Go back and listen to the Ray Ripple episode, and go back and listen to the David Madero episode, and give me an F-bomb count, and I will give you a free sticker pack, Arc Junkie sticker pack.
I will win. I know for a fact.
Whose podcast is longer?
Ray's
yours
one
longer,
down.
David?
I'd have to go back and look at the stats.
You have to, maybe if somebody's longer, you have to stop it at a certain minute mark.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's fair.
And that was like, Jason, that was my absolute first podcast. So I was a little nervous, and it was kind of before Netflix came out and this and that, and I'm not used to any of this. Being in front of the cameras, doing the podcast and the interviews.
Well, I had to tell Jason that you spoke English. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually speak
English. You need to get David on. He's like, oh, does he even speak English?
No, well, because like I look at all your work and it's all like Mexican based, and I was like, se habla español, and like then because yo habla solamente español, but like I can't speak enough to carry on a conversation. Which, by the way, David, I had an absolute pleasure hanging out with you on Mexican Independence Day, and I learned mucho más about your culture, and I really appreciate that, because I came back and I shared that with my fellow Latinos, and the look on their face of like because
stuff. White boy Americans should know.
Yeah, este gringo no necesita sabe este, because like. Yeah.
Did they make you sign something in blood or something?
No, I didn't. I had to do a shot of tequila in the copy room, which I thought was awkward. But I mean, like, I didn't realize you guys carried that with you everywhere. But I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm down with that. No, like we have this we have this like intern that works. And she's from California. Her family's originally from from Mexico. And I told her about the Mexican Independence Day, like the deet 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 deet, and so I said it, and she was like, the look on her face was like, holy shit, the white guy knows. Okay, like I could see it, like right, transparent.
Let's see if you remember.
Okay, you ready?
We're gonna be honking a horn.
Okay.
Chinga
tu madre, cabrón. Yes. So like now I am officially a delegate of the Mexico territories in Monterey. Just so everybody knows that. No, I had a great time hanging out with you in Chicago, and
man, it's so much fun.
It was a blast, like talking to you at FabTech and like kind of checking it out because that was your first FabTech experience, right?
No, it was actually my second.
Oh no, that's right, because you were over there in Chicago 2019 doing the metal sculpture, and I was like too afraid to walk up to you and talk to you. I remember that clear as day.
You know, a lot of people have told me that even now with the Netflix and the podcast, and
you're very famous.
I don't get it.
Well, David, I tell you all the time.
There's with the humbleness
he's the
again.
Person, and I'm like, David, you have to like put yourself out there on like social media and make yourself look like a real person. Like everything is so like serious sculpture, and here I am, the serious sculptor guy. And I'm like, David, like, loosen up. Yeah,
I do absolutely.
I have noticed you have been way better this last like month or so. You've been doing a lot more stories and everything, and I want to tell you, you're doing a great job.
No, he loosened up quite a bit at Shitty O'K's. I mean, Kitty O'Shea's down there at the Hilton in Chicago.
Hey, I like that place.
No, I love that place, but I can't remember who it was. I think it was shit.
It's probably Rick Palanin.
No, I think it was Justin Merrill. He's like, oh yeah, we'll meet, or maybe Max Cerrone from the CWB. He's like, oh yeah, we'll meet you down there at Shitty O'K's. And I was like, get out of my freaking mind, because like my dyslexic ass, as soon as I seen Kitty O'Shea's, I thought to myself immediately, Shitty O'K's. And I can't believe somebody else has verbalized this.
Oh my goodness.
But that was an awesome restaurant.
Like something Rick Palanin would say.
It might be. It could have been.
We did I did a thing with Rick and his section a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, "Oh, this is Stephanie from Metal Munchers."
Oh, wow!
Oh no!
That takes on a different connotation.
That man just makes me laugh every time I'm around him. He is hysterical.
Great idea for a new YouTube channel.
Metal Munchers.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's not what you think it is.
David.
Yes.
David, we're gonna have our own podcast. It's called Metal Munchers.
There you go. Start it up, man. I'll help you. I'll tell you exactly what equipment you need.
I can see the shirt branding now. It's gonna be great.
There you go. No,
wait, I was gonna say something and I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, David, you need to tell the story about your mom watching the show for the first time and you being translated in your actual first language.
Oh,
okay. Shit. I never even thought about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh man, kind of embarrassing, but okay. You know, my family, Mexican moms and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles, they're all like, oh my God, like fiesta, fiesta, fiesta. And they're all super proud and this and that. And my mom and my aunts, of course, they started watching it without me, right? Of course, they started watching it without me.
Obviously.
But my aunts and my mom, they're not too keen on English, right? Because, I lived in the US and I went to school here and I can kind of learn English, kind of, sort of, right? You can kind of tell. But my mom, no, and my aunts, less. So they're watching Netflix with me freaking dubbed, Jason, in Spanish. And of course, they had, every Netflix show that is dubbed in Spanish, they have their own typical actors, right? There's always these typical, and they're very like
voice actors,
and way more hyperactive than me, and just very dramatic.
It's like a Telemundo series. It's a telenovela.
Yeah. Or like a telenovela, right?
Yeah.
It's very like dramatic. So I would be talking, and then all of a sudden, I walked in the house to go see my mom, and I heard this voice, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Because they're talking about, y sí, la obra en metal, y esto y lo otro, y la soldadura es excepcional, y la textura, y esto y lo otro, and I, oh my God, man. And of course, they dubbed me with the most exaggerated actor.
Fabio?
I don't know. like.
Oh, it's so mad, right?
I mean, it was freaking crazy. And then, of course, I had to go back home and I had to watch myself in Russian, in Japanese, in Chinese.
I didn't do that yet.
Oh, you have to.
You could.
I gotta watch this now.
I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do that.
unbelievable. It's the
But your poor
best.
mother, she's heard your voice like the way it is her whole life, and now here she is listening to you. It sounds like a complete dork.
There's totally, there's something not natural, right? It's just something that doesn't, it's icky, right? Having your mom listening to or looking at you with a dubbed actor in Spanish, right? And she's like, what's going on?
They should have just they should have just recorded it twice and had you do it in English and then once again in Espanol. Like that could have solved a quarter of their problem.
Come on, Netflix, next time, like next season, just
let me dub my own voice.
I'll do it, baby.
No, that's freaking cool. And Stephanie, like going back to like talking about, like our passion of welding, when you were talking about wanting to get back into education and teaching, I think that's so freaking, it's so awesome because like I was an educator and now I'm like the manager of the welding program. So I don't get to interact with the students. And that's the one thing that I miss the most is interacting, that one-on-one interaction with the students, watching that eureka moment, like explaining my passion for welding. So to see you go from, welder out there on the Jersey Shore to welding educator to the face of the AWS to welding Netflix. And now you're like, now that I've done all this, like I really want to go back and I want to teach. And I think that's so freaking awesome. And it's like, thank God I'm not alone, because you want to go back and it's definitely, I understand 100%. It's not for profit to go back and show them how to do this and share your passion. It's you, and like I've said before so many times on the podcast, like you cannot put a price tag on sharing what you do and teaching and educating. And for so long, like, and everybody that says, oh, those who can't do, teach, like I want to kick them in the teeth because it's like,
I never understood
you don't
don't
understand
it.
I mean, like, I mean, to get that for like your accounting and your humanities and stuff like, but like for a skilled trade, like if I can't lay down a good bead,
the kids are not going to.
They're not going to respect you. They're not going to believe you. They can't trust you. You have to be able to. You have to show up and be able to perform every single day, and you're under a microscope.
Oh
and depending on how big your class is, like we have classes of 15. Like I'm under 15 different microscopes. I have to perform. So for you to go back and do that,
exactly. I mean, now with Instagram, they expect you to be that caliber all the time.
All the time, and if you screw up, you're like, oh, like you lose respect. So you've got to be on point.
Thing wrong, off, it's a different animal. But I don't know what's making me want to get back into teaching so much. I think it's
the passion.
I like connecting with people who are equally as interested. And you know what? Like, I don't want to sound like crappy or whatever. Like, I don't want this to sound crappy. But when you feel like you've kind of, made every notch in your belt, that you more notches in your belt than you ever dreamed of. And in my career, when I started welding 21 years ago, I didn't think I would ever go and be the face of the American Welding Society, especially with the way I look. And being a woman, I just thought, I'm going to be a pipe welder, get a bunch of certifications, make some good money. That's the end of it for me, simple as that. And then, every opportunity, every time you think you can't do something or, your career's not going to, there's no way it's going to get any better than this. And then, Netflix comes along and now it's like a whole different thing. And I think for me now with like my business is exploding and that's great and all, but that type of work, it makes me happy, but it doesn't fill that weird thing that's still inside of me,
void.
And
yes.
Yeah. And the reason why I left teaching to go and work for the American Welding Society was because I was going to be able to tour the country working with kids all across the country as they're going to come on as volunteers, students. I'm going to spend this time with them, but I'm still not teaching, I'm talking to them and giving them advice and things like that. But I want to get back into teaching, and I really enjoy it. And I think that I'm pretty decent at it. I don't know, if I think I'm pretty good at it, but there's just something to be said about, passing it on now. I feel like I've put those notches in my belt now, and now it's time for me to kind of, I need to give back. So that's kind of where I'm at right now is I want to give back. There's so many people that reach out and they want to be taught by somebody like me. somebody that they feel like they can aspire to be. It's different to be taught by a teacher who's always been a teacher, but to be taught by somebody who's really had nothing but, a successful endeavor in their career. I don't want to sound, again, I don't want to sound like arrogant or anything or like shitty when I say this, but like, I didn't have a lot of like crap in my career. Like I've been treated like crap at certain places that I've worked, but I've been successful everywhere that I've worked, if that makes any sense. Like, doesn't mean that I've enjoyed the company of all the dudes that I was working with every place, but there's a lot of like assholes around, but to feel like you just constantly succeed, like you're just succeeding in everything, it gets kind of boring, and teaching is just a challenge.
No, definitely 100%.
So I just think that like going back to teaching is just going to add, that challenge that I'm looking for in my life, and then having that like the little, I know it's super novelty, but having this little golf area where people again can feel like they have this weird, personal connection with me, even for that moment. I think that's just adding a little bit of different, a different take on teaching and welding and a different type of environment. People are going to come into a really cool space and be able to learn some really cool stuff and, just be a part of my life for a little bit, and I think that's something that people are going to appreciate that, because again, when you're being taught by somebody, hopefully they're seeking me out to teach them because they aspire to be something, maybe in my shoes one day, so I think it's just it just makes sense right now to be doing this.
And the funny thing is like, you're like, I couldn't see myself as like the face of AWS, and I couldn't see myself doing this, and I couldn't see myself doing that. So there we were back in 2016, like me, Jeremy, Travis, Kyle, we're all sitting in the background being like, they're going to pick her up. Like we're sitting in the back of the classroom because you were like on your pedestal talking about like, you want to start reaching people? Here's what you need to do. Like you had like, because you're like 4'9".
4'11".
Okay, 4'11". So like, okay, so 4'11". Like, but you were like 6 foot tall when you explained like, here's how you need to reach people. And your passion has always like, been the forefront of Stephanie Hoffman. And like I saw that way back in the day, and like I said, Jeremy and Travis and Kyle were all sitting back, and Hugo, we're all like, they're gonna pick her up. They're gonna do something with her. We just don't know what it is yet.
Telling me this, and it was a couple, like what, 3 years of that. And
we're like, you're next. You're going
they're
somewhere.
They're dragging you all over. They're doing something. They're looking at you, and I was like, no way. I'm like, look at me. They're just appeasing me. They're just like, shut this girl up.
No, and it was because you have that passion, for what you do and the industry. And like, I think a lot of people like, they throw that to the back burner because you're a female, and it's bullshit, because like, you're just as passionate as any other welder I know. And you can like do anodized TIG aluminum like nobody I've ever seen. Like I can't do what you do, and you do like amazing freaking work. And then the artwork aspect of it too. It's like, you deserve to be where you're at because you've worked hard to get there. And
yeah, I definitely had to work hard. I don't know if I always deserve it, but
no, you definitely deserve it because of how hard you've worked.
Hard.
Because you, and like, in all fairness, you've had to overcome a lot more obstacles than like David and I have in this industry, because it's a male dominated industry. So to get where you're at today, it wasn't because of looks or height or anything like that. It's all been hard work, effort, dedication, and passion to what you're doing. And that just goes to prove, that point is the fact that you're going back to starting like essentially your own welding school to give back and show people how to do it, exactly what's given you your passion and what's, put you down further on your path of the welding career.
Jason, have you ever thought what would happen to you or I if we were to get those DMs that Stephanie gets and those certain comments that, we would just be in a ball crying the whole time, right?
No.
Man, if I got some of the pictures that I would imagine that you get, that'd be an awkward situation to deal with on a Tuesday afternoon.
It's kind of a bummer because like with social media, I find it hard to like lately because of the certain negative stuff that I get and then the positive stuff. I am not as good with responding to the private message requests and stuff as maybe I would want to be. It's just, maybe it's more of like a way to protect myself from feeling like, because it's like, I'll respond back to somebody who says something kind, they say, oh, love the show. You did great. And I say, thank you so much. And then it turns into this opening this window for them to now suddenly be like, oh, well, maybe she's answering me. Now maybe I can, like, we're going to go on a date.
Yeah, now I've got a chance.
Yeah. And it gets really weird really fast. And I'm like, so now it makes me not want to respond to those types of things, because if I do respond to somebody, it turns into this like suddenly now we're best friends and they're like, hey baby, good morning, beautiful, you know, like every day. And there's these people that literally will message me every morning after the fact that I answered them one time and just said something like, you know, thank you, send an emoji, whatever. And now every day they try to connect with me somehow. And
That's
like, it's
awkward.
always weird.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have to just like delete. You know, and then sometimes the best are the ones that trick me. You know, you see the first line and it says something nice, and then the rest of it is just really mean. Like, what the hell just happened? You know, it's like, oh, I love the show, but you are a total bitch. You have no right being there. I'm like, whoa.
Easy there. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like, it's just really strange. And you know, I guess David might not be getting that type of
No, nothing.
But yeah, it's
No, nothing.
that's been, you know, it's been just weird, you know, and you know, the comments on stuff, you know, you get my family will read it and they want to, like, you know, be my, you know, avenge me, you know, and I'm like, stop, like, listen, it's not that serious. These people aren't going to be, you know, feeding my family and paying my electric bill, you know, like, I'm going to continue to work hard and continue to be the best representation of a woman in this industry as I can, and screw them if they don't like me. So,
Right.
you know, and you know what, I always like to think that if they actually got to know me, they might like me.
Right.
I'm not as mean as what I came off on the TV show. Like, that's called editing. And, you know, poor Ivan the other day, like, people, I guess, always comment, like, all these people think that, like, David and I, like, screwed up and you really fucked this one over and you really got it wrong. And it's like, you didn't see the whole thing like we did, you know? We picked these people, we did what we did for reasons, you know? Mm-hmm. And, you know, poor Ivan, I guess he got like sick of people saying nasty things about me. And he like made this post. I'm like, Ivan, like, this is your moment to shine. Like, don't worry about what people are saying about me. You know, it's not your problem. You know, it's, you know, Ivan is a great guy and he's so sweet for wanting to like feel like he needs to like defend me out there and tell people that I'm a sweetheart and we're all friends. But like, to these people, they love each of these competitors for whatever reasons. You know, they feel connected and bonded to these people and they feel like they need to, you know, be their advocate. And, you know, if you want to say bad things about me because, you know, whatever reason, I guess it is the way it is. And I want all the competitors to just bask in all the glory of these people, just absolutely loving them so much that they feel like they need to defend their honor. You know, like, I think that's fantastic. And I think they should be really proud of that. And I told Ivan the day when I saw him at SEMA, I was like, I really appreciate what you were trying to do, but don't think you need to do that. Like I'm okay. I am not new to people being nasty and negative towards, you know, the fact my presence in the welding industry. So like, don't think like you need to defend me. So he's like, no, he's like, it's just, you know, I just love you guys and this and that. And it's not right. It's not right. I'm like, it might not be right, but it's, you need to enjoy this moment, you know?
And it's subjective what Stephanie and I judging. It was very subjective, and it's what I like and what I didn't like, and exactly the same for Stephanie. And we're very good at what we do. So they needed experts. We were those experts, and we're two judges. But all of a sudden now the show comes out and there are millions of judges. There's just millions and millions of judges.
Yes.
It's like, come on, guys. I mean, just enjoy the show, see the talented people on the show. See what they're doing. Yeah.
Forget about the judging. Just appreciate what just happened in an 8 or 10 hour time span for these people. It's like, hello, that's an accomplishment in itself, what they've all created. So I don't think David and I could do it. David takes a bazillion years to make one thing. And I mean, I probably move a little quicker than David does.
Maybe a little bit.
But I don't think I'm always so worried that like one day Netflix is going to come to David and I and be like, it's going to be like a beat the judges, you know, showdown. And I'm going to be like, you don't even think that.
That just makes me nervous.
Do you think they'll ever do that and be like, hey, you know, like let the judges go show, you know, toe to toe?
I think so. What's that show that did it? The knives and the
Forged and Fire?
Forged and Fire?
They did do that?
Like judges against competitors. So, hey, they might do it. we might have to get ready for that, Stephanie. You never know.
Yeah, I mean,
10 hours, man. David, you think you can pull it off in 10 hours?
Oh, dude. I'm gonna have
David will be like,
I'm
big welding.
You gonna bust out the old
Welding yoga.
oxyacetylene torch for a 10-hour competition?
Oh yeah, man, you know it. But it was a great experience that we had, and I don't know, man. It's like Stephanie says, you just have to kind of forget about the universe for a second and just think about yourself, what you do, your family, your friends, and what's out there on Netflix and on the comments and the people critiquing the show. They have no idea. They have absolutely no idea what we saw. Stephanie and I saw from beginning to end what they had to go through. We like while they were sketching, right? While they were sketching things out, we're right there seeing it. And we just had to make a decision, and it was hard, right, Steph? I mean,
really hard.
It was probably the hardest thing that I've ever had to do, because my entire life I've always said it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you just do art and as long as you just express yourself. So it's really hard for me to tell somebody, hey, listen, maybe you didn't express yourself in this work of art like maybe you should have. And it was hard. And it was just kind of like Stephanie and I, we decided that we're just gonna kind of go through the rules and just kind of check mark things like, okay, did they do this? Yes. Did they do that? No. And kind of add up and subtract the check marks. And it was almost mathematical in a way. It wasn't so much like, oh, I hated her or I hated him, or no, it was just very mathematical. And it
wasn't always about just which one we thought looked the best.
Mm-hmm.
It was sometimes it was full on, like, did they comply with the requirements of the competition? Did they meet each requirement?
That's the thing, is you got to like set up like a rubric, like, did you meet the requirements? Did you do what you were supposed to? Did you, like, there's got to be checks and balances.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
and there was times we didn't agree.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was times we didn't agree. We saw things differently. David would say, on the instrument challenge, when we couldn't send Ray or Lou home, we were literally arguing, like, in our trailer during lunch. He came over knocking on the door. Are you mad at me? I'm like, no, David, I'm not mad at you. Like, but I'm just frustrated because you're not seeing my point of view.
Right.
So it was like one of those things where I'm like, no, it should be this person because X, Y, and Z. And he's like, no, I see it like this. It should be this person because of X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And like, we were just seeing X, Y, and Z two different ways, know?
Stephanie, remember, they would stick us in a room for like an hour while they were waiting for us outside with their sculptures, and we were arguing. And because of editing and things like that, they had cameras on us, but they didn't show that.
They didn't use it. They didn't use us to like act. And that was one thing that I wish they would have put in, was us actually talking and discussing why we picked who we picked or who we didn't, why we didn't pick somebody.
And it was kind of sad because Stephanie and I have this great chemistry. We're like brother and sister, and we just like two sides of a coin. And it was just beautiful having just two different mindsets coming together to make a decision. And, this kind of bleeds into a little of the things that irked me after the show came out, with comments, different, you have like the pipe welders saying, oh man, they couldn't do this kind of weld, and this, they aren't welders, they ain't shit. And then you have like these the TIG masters saying, nothing that they do, they're not real welders. And I'm like, guys, come on, that is BS. These were Netflix picked 7 of the best metal artists in the world, and I will go to my deathbed thinking that it irks me to see those, like, and we're all under the same roof, we're all fabricators. We all fabricate. some people fabricate bridges, others do buildings, others do like kitchens, and then others do metal art. We're all fabricators.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say that somebody else isn't a fabricator,
that's the one thing that I don't get about the welding industry. I've never understood it.
We should
I seriously don't get it, because like I've done all the different processes from stick, MIG, TIG, flux core, aluminum MIG, sub arc, like pretty much like every welding process other than laser welding. If you're sticking metal together, and Nate Bowman and I had the same conversation when we were at FabTech. You're sticking metal together. Are you considered a welder? Yes, to an extent. But everybody like has their own hill that they're going to die on. Like if they specialize in TIG welding, if you weld pipe for anything other than aerospace, you're not a welder. And then like, the structural steel welders, which like I belong to that crew, like I'm part of that tribe, right? Like if you don't do anything other than structural, like you're not a welder. Like if you weld pipe and it gets buried in the ground, you're not a welder. I don't know where I come to learn the fact that like you guys do things with welding that I can't do, or I'm not able to do at this point in my life. There's guys out on the pipeline that do things with welding that I can't do. There's guys that do like MIG welding, like Crap Out Welds. Alex Siebert out in California. He does things with MIG welding with like short circuit that I can't do. He does like beautiful artwork with his welds. But I respect everybody's welds. I respect everybody's in this profession. Everybody's in this trade. Everybody's, relying on voltage and amperage and contact tip to work distance to do what they do in their form.
Yeah.
Frank Ledbetter does some like really cool marine type artwork. Ray Ripple does like ridiculous shit that I can't even do with my CNC plasma cutter. She's got that much precision and that much forethought. Stephanie Hoffman does, everything with her artwork that I can't do with coppers and aluminums and steels, and combines those three different alloys. And David, you build massive amounts of, sculptures that are like world renowned. Like you built shit for the president of Mexico. Like, but I respect that. I put structural steel buildings together all over the state of Florida. And, I welded across, the ocean in Iraq and Kuwait, but I still respect the level of stuff that you all can do. And I never understood that. Maybe we've got too much pride as a welding industry to not be able to look at somebody else's craft in the welding industry and say, that's freaking cool. I respect what you do. It's also welding. It's not what I do. It's a different form of welding. But at the end of the day, we're all just master manipulators of molten metal in our own way.
Yeah. I think too, a lot of it comes down to like, people don't think of art and creative fabrication as something that's like deemed manly enough for it to be called welding. I feel like that's always been a thing in this industry. I mean, I'm looking at it from that perspective of like, I kind of, I might be a little bit of a fence rider when it comes to like where I came from and where I am now. Right. And I feel like a lot of the guys who get all like, they grudge about, calling yourself a welder when you're a metal artist or whatever. I feel like it has to do with, they just don't think it is like,
legit.
I guess. Yeah. Like,
not real welding.
Yeah. It's not real.
Yeah.
It's not manly enough. It doesn't have that type of edge to it.
But Steph,
it's going to be softer.
Those are the same type of guys, because like welding is like the man sport of, skilled trades.
Yeah.
And those are the same type of guys that are going to get on a freaking tuna boat to go offshore deep sea fishing and look at those aluminum anodized TIG welds that you've done and be like, damn, the dude that did that is freaking awesome. Like, like they respect that shit, but they don't know that Stephanie Hoffman up on the Jersey Shore welded that shit out, Yeah. And that's what I don't get.
And it's funny. I've been in more yacht and boating magazines throughout my career than I've ever been for actual welding stuff because of all the anodized work that I've done. I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I just think that that's where the biggest issue is that I don't think that now a lot of people always think that way, because I think so many people with social media and stuff are making cool stuff cool.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is starting to kind of chip away a little bit, because these are a lot of some really talented pipe welders and, structural guys and stuff like that, crossing over and doing really interesting, intricate metalwork, So I think that that's really, I think it's going to slowly shift and slowly change. And hopefully with the show coming out, I think people are going to see people a lot differently in this side of work. But like, I think our show was really cool and unique because it did showcase so many people with different backgrounds of welding. Like Frank Ledbetter, I mean, he used to own like a fabrication company. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he didn't just do art.
That blew my mind when he was like, oh yeah, we used to like
mechanical.
certified ASME Section 9 and API 1104. And I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, this guy's like building freaking structural marlins and Trojan horses and stuff, but he owned his own fabrication company where he was doing code work. So like,
Yeah.
you can't say that, oh, he's not a welder because, you know, he's, you know, making freaking silly little fish and shrimp and shit in his shop. And like, no, he's been there. He's done that. He's doing, and like Marshall Whitney with ROM Furniture, like all the stuff that he does, he's building furniture, but he ran a freaking, you know, ASME freaking code shop for years and ASME Section 9 shop for years. And like now he's doing art in the form of furniture.
Then Tom from Cold Hard Art, who used to do race cars, freaking race cars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If people out there kind of want to focus on, oh, you're not a welder, you suck in this, do it with me, guys.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You don't know somebody's story until you've lived it.
Not the competitors. Like I told Stephanie so many times, Stephanie, please show me how to weld because I can't do a straight bead to save my life, basically. Right? But you know, so just focus that energy on me. The rest.
I know. I asked David, I'm like, David, how did you get that really cool texture? Like, how did you do that? And I was like, what were the settings? He's like, oh, I don't know. I just turned the knobs.
Yeah, this is ran like 13 volts and 350 on my wire feed speed. It just came out with that whiskers.
Like, just whatever I liked. Oh, okay. So I'm like, how can I do that at home? He's like, just turn the knobs.
Yeah.
Just go like this until like, it feels right. Maybe.
Yeah, just turn this one a little bit, turn that knob a little bit. No, but
I'm like, wait, no. I'm like, David, no. Just tell me, like, what do you think around the settings? He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't even know what that dial does.
But that's the funny thing is, like, he's putting up, like, even the sculptures that he puts up has a structural steel frame.
Yeah.
You know, so, like, it's meeting the codes at some point to be able to do exactly what David's doing.
Yeah, I'll hire, like, real welders to do all the internal stuff.
David, you're
like,
screwing up everything we just talked about for the past 15 minutes. Like, you're a real welder. We just say, like, the other guys that are qualified in this area.
Exactly. I should change my tune a little bit.
There you go.
I'll give you guys, like, a quick little story. When you had mentioned that I was bartending back in the day, well, you know, there's this guy and he had this fabrication shop. So he would always go in the bar. I would serve him drinks and he always talked about welding and MIG, TIG and stick and all these kind of things. And I kept telling him, yeah, I weld also. I used to weld when I was younger and when I was a teenager. And he kept asking me, so what processes did you weld in? And I'm like, you know, I'd even forgotten the word acetylene. I mean, the word MIG, I have no idea about MIG, the GMAW. I mean, I had no freaking idea. So this guy never freaking believed me. He would always look at me like, oh, you were a freaking liar, man. You never welded in your life. And I'm like, no, please believe me. Please believe me. and because I didn't have the lingo. I couldn't talk. And, you know, I don't even know what CO2 is. I have no idea, like, what? I know I have to turn it on and it comes through and it makes like a splatter thing and it makes these awesome textures. But, you know, it's yeah. Focus,
yeah. Here's David. Here's David like serving drinks at Tijuana Flats, and the guy on the other side of the line is a freaking pipe welder. You know, that's been throwing freaking pipe. You know, like miles of freaking pipe down, and he's working 16-hour shifts. And you know, like David's like, oh yeah, like I stick things together. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, he's building shit for the president of Mexico. And like can't explain what the hell he actually does for a living.
Oh man, I love it, dude. I mean, every time Stephanie and I are together, it's, you know, going back to that respecting people. I wish we would. I think it's coming. Yeah, there's nobody on this planet that I respect more than Stephanie and you and other welders that I've met. And for them not to kind of just a little bit of respect towards me, it's like, wow, really? But I wish people were more like Stephanie and I. It would just make the whole entire fabrication world just so much freaking better. It's just, we're the perfect case study, you know?
I think it's, and honestly, I think it's swinging around because, like, you know, like AWS just put out like I wish I would remember the website, like AWS welding data. Like, look on my LinkedIn, you can see the website. You know, they talk about like the average wage or the average age of a welder and how many welders were short between now and 2024. Like, the people that have that mentality, I think they're slowly phasing out. And like the next generation of welders is up and coming, and they understand that, like, you do TIG, I do MIG, I do flux core, this person over here does sub arc. Like, you can see, like, everybody, like I said, that stupid little 3/8 ball of molten metal that everybody stares at under the hood, just under a different clarity, you know, to form a different object at the end of the day, whether it's pipe, whether it's structural steel, whether it's artwork, whether it's manufacturing a bracket that goes into a frickin', you know, a traffic light. You know, like, you're a welder. You're sticking shit together. You're a master manipulator of molten metal in the world that you live in. And people are starting to respect other people's, you know, that part of it. You know, I think it's coming. And I hope that it's coming. And that's kind of like the mission of what I do, is to help educate and inspire the next generation of welders. And when I say welders, it's stick, MIG, TIG, flux core, like every process you can think of. Laser welding, friction stir welding. Like, if you're a welder, you're a freaking welder. You know,
I don't know any of those words, Jason.
I'll send you an email that's got, like, I'll send you I think it's the AWS A 3.0 standard terms and definitions. We'll get you locked in, bud. But I think that it's slowly coming. It's coming around. And that's what I want to see in this welding community, is people respect other people's work, whether it's artwork, pipe, structural, manufacturing. Everybody has their own little niche. There's not too many people out there that can do all the different welding processes. Like, I hear the term master welder thrown around a lot, and I think that's a crock of shit, because
it's such a weird thing to say.
It's such a weird thing to say. It's like, if you think you're a master welder, you've not scratched the surface of what is welding. Let me introduce you to the Bill Comloses of the world. Let me introduce you to the Bill Farmers and the Rob Tessiers and the Nate Bowmans of this welding industry. And at the end of that conversation, tell me you're a master welder, because you cannot master this craft. And I think that's why everybody gets out of bed every day and straps on their steel toe boots and walks out that door, is to master the process that they're working in. Not specifically the entire field of welding, just their niche of the welding industry.
Right.
I don't know. That's kind of the hill that I'm going to die on.
Yeah. Totally.
Well, Stephanie and Dave, I know you guys have lots of stuff to do. I know you guys are in different time zones. Stephanie, you got stuff to do. You're out of SEMA. Dave, you've got like some pictures you need to send me of this phoenix arising from the ashes that you can't share with anybody else. Go ahead, plug your socials, plug everything else that you guys have coming up. It's been an awesome opportunity to get you guys both, you know, like, not necessarily in the same room, but like in the same screen, to be able to chat with you once again.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, David Madero, you can find me on Instagram, Madero_CO, on Facebook. I've got a YouTube also, which is Madero Co. Just write. I'll answer. I mean, you know, I won't, you know, send a whole essay to you, but write me. And if you have any questions, just do it, people. I mean, it's what I do. It's what I do. So it was a pleasure being with you both. I love you to death. This has been kind of a great reunion for us, because we were together back in Fat Tech. So this is kind of like the post.
Just over a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Just over.
It's like the wrap up.
Yeah.
A wrap up, and we got to keep doing these things.
Mm-hmm.
Fat Tech, SEMA is just more of these. I mean, we didn't touch too much upon Fat Tech, but holy crap, that is probably my favorite thing in the world to do, and I cannot wait to see you both at next Fat Tech.
Apparently, I need to get out to SEMA, so I'm gonna have to try that out next year. So,
It's a
Steph,
good
where
time.
can everybody find you? As if they have no freaking clue. I mean, like,
Yeah.
where are you located at? Where can people follow you on Instagram? Where can they sign up for your classes? When are those going to be available?
Yeah, so Underground Metalworks, that's all my stuff. I got Underground Metalworks. It's on .com or whatever that is. I think it's like underground-metalworks.com. That's where all the classes are going to be listed. December 1st, the first 2 months, January and February, will be listed. All those classes on there. Might be a little bit of a slow start there in January because it's all new. We're trying to get everything ready to go. But the new shop is located on the Jersey Shore in Ocean County, New Jersey. So yeah, if you're gonna have any questions, you probably won't be talking with me. You'll be talking to the person who's gonna be doing all the booking and stuff for the classes. But yeah, you can give us a call anytime. You'll find all that information on the website there. So email is probably the best. So.
Well, perfect. Once you want to get together like a structural steel class, give me a holler and I'll be on the next. I don't know, probably freaking Delta, because Southwest and American Airlines have they're tied in a freaking knot right now. But
I don't know what's going on because I fly more than most people do, and I fly strictly American, and I have yet to have any issues. So
maybe I'll try that one next, because
hopefully.
I know coming out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin, I had issues with Delta, and I know like Southwest is having some problems right now, but
Southwest
definitely
is a no-go zone for most people, I think, right now. So.
If I got to jump in the car and drive up there, I will come up and support whatever you got going on.
We'll get you squared away. Don't worry.
All right. Well, thank you guys both or ladies and gentlemen, thank you both for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time. I know you're super busy, especially with everything you got going on. So to pop in here and kind of share your stories, share your experience with the listeners of the ARC Junkies podcast, I really appreciate that.
Got much love for you, Jason. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for listening. If you have not seen Metal Shop Masters on Netflix yet, do yourself a favor and go binge watch it right now. Don't forget to swing by the new ARC Junkies website, arc-junkies.podsite.io, to stream all your favorite episodes of the ARC Junkies podcast, check out new episodes, pick up some ARC Junkies merchandise. I hope you all have an awesome week. Stay safe out there, and until next time, make every weld better than your last.